when Elon took over Doge, that was like the final Avenger. Like, having that team together is such a unique team where you have prominent former Democrats, former eight-time Democrat for 8 years, Democrat congresswoman, who also served overseas in a medical unit twice. Like, this is, you've got an extraordinary group of human beings.
Extraordinary group of human beings, all of whom I think took very real risks.
Oh, yeah.
At the very least with their reputations.
Well, Tulsi got put on a terrorist watch list.
Of course.
Which is fucking crazy.
And it was a gamble. Each of these people, you know, Kennedy, Musk, Tulsi, they knew that they were taking that risk. And it was clear that they were motivated by patriotism. That they actually, I mean, this is what a soldier does, right? You know that you're taking risks for something that matters more than you.
Yes.
And, you know, to watch Elon do it, I think also was just remarkable because, of course, in Elon's position, he could have done, you know, what Zuckerberg does, right? And he could have played it safe and kept his options open and done what he was told, right, and then, you know, apologized for it later, sort of, right? That wasn't what Musk did. He actually had the courage of his convictions. As many people have noted, his liberation of X set the stage for this election to even happen. That there wasn't anything you could put over on us that we couldn't unpack and, you know, crowdsource a better interpretation of on X. And even if most people weren't on X, it was enough that their narrative engine just didn't work.
Right.
So,
and if you look at a viral post on X, a viral post about something that's very important, like that has to do with USAID, you will see 7 million, 8 million views, 10 million views. There's nothing equivalent like that to mainstream media. There's nothing even close. There's nothing even close. Maybe a very viral YouTube clip. But these are every day, all day long. There's posts that have 7 million, 5 million, 3 million. And people are reposting them as well and sharing them and taking the information and posting them, you know, without credit. There's a lot of that going on. So the actual amount of the information that gets out is far more than it would have ever happened without Elon taking over Twitter. It's probably changed the course of our civilization in a way that nothing else could have done.
Yes, and I think it's a little bit deceptive because its size doesn't quite explain its impact, but it's a little bit like the higher reasoning centers of the brain. Like, there's a collective consciousness in which we figure out what we think is true, and it's been downstream of this amazing propaganda engine. Well, we're now learning to spot the propaganda and to understand what it really means and to figure out what it's cloaking. And a lot of that is happening on Twitter because it can. And it's actually forcing, you know, Facebook to come around, right?
Right.
Which, of course, you know, I usually say that 0 is a special number, meaning in a world with no social media platforms where you can speak freely and reason with others, there's no pressure to start doing that. But once you have one, any social media platform that doesn't allow you to speak freely is at a competitive disadvantage. And so, you know, Elon freeing X actually liberated the others, and they're beginning to move in the right direction, which, frankly, is part of why this era just feels different.
Now, here's the thing. What sitting politicians need to do right now is they need to have honest reflection. If the American people have become so disillusioned in our politicians that we're willing to let the richest guy on the planet that's not even from here come in and do sweeping firings of all the government agencies, that's not a reflection on him. That's a reflection of you guys in power and how disillusioned we have become and how untrustworthy we are, or how untrustworthy you are. We've lost faith in you guys and your ability to command our government spending. So now we're willing to let this stranger come in and just start firing people willy-nilly. You have to reinstill our faith. You don't do that by going, rich, bad guy, rich. Well, poor politicians, also bad. So who the fuck can we trust?
For weeks, Musk has boasted about slashing the federal workforce, appearing at a conservative conference with a chainsaw in hand.
The chainsaw for bureaucracy.
You're right, but to that point, there are
Y'all gotta do better. Why are you waiting for this guy to come in and fire some people or reorganize some shit? Why aren't you guys doing this? Why isn't there a committee every single year? Why the fuck haven't we audited the Pentagon once?
This other thing about Elon. Elon's going to steal everybody's money. He has $400 billion. I'm telling you, he's not going to steal your money. I'm telling you, that's not what he's doing. What he's doing is he's a super genius that's been fucked with. Okay? And when you've been fucked with by these nitwits that hide behind three-letter agencies, and you're dealing with one of the smartest people alive, and he helps Donald Trump get into office, and he goes, I want to find out what kind of corruption is really around. Well, you fucked up. You fucked up and picked the wrong psychopath on the spectrum, because he's gonna hunt you down. He's gonna find out what's going on, and that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really fucking corrupt and goofy systems, and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
Yeah, well, AOC is the one that says he's the most unintelligent person she's ever met.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed.
Did she really say that?
She really said that.
Wow, I want to meet her friends. They're probably cool. Imagine the conversation you'd have with her friends. If he's the most unintelligent person she's ever met, wow, her friends must be amazing. I want to go to one of those parties. It's probably just like fascinating person after fascinating person.
First thing, just discussing Doge really quickly. I think that there are very few Americans that would say that they do not support a reduction in waste and inefficiency.
Correct.
Especially when it comes to government institutions. So this is a bipartisan measure that Americans are supportive of. Doge has become incredibly partisan. First, can you tell me why you think that is?
I think it is about wars of credibility, of institutions, and of process. So something I think is
What does that mean?
It's just really,
and speak to me emotionally. Like why does, I'm not talking about like politically why it has, I'm talking about why the average person on Twitter feels compelled to be so critical of Doge. Like, what do you think is what being communicated to them, and why are they having such a knee-jerk reaction to it, knowing that they do want to reduce government inefficiency?
For them, it's about Elon's complete and total judgment over this. They don't trust Elon. I would say that's it. So,
and is that fair?
Yeah, I do think it's fair. I do think it's fair.
Let's
for
make
a number
that
of
argument.
reasons.
What's the steel man against?
The steel man against Doge is that you have a person who is unelected by the United States, who is the sole power over what gets cut, which violates the Constitution, because the Constitution, the power of the purse, is within Congress. Congress gets to decide what programs get cut or not. He is, according to them, illegally shutting off and doing these things, and also at times has major conflicts of interest in many of the decisions that he is
What
making.
is an example of those?
The perfect example is right now. State Department was, my friend Ryan Grimm, he works with us at Breaking Points, broke a story about there was originally going to be some State Department contract awarded to Tesla for, I forget the number, it was like maybe 4 million or something. After Trump got elected, that contract went up to 400 million for Tesla's armed up Cybertrucks, and then they actually took the word Tesla off the website and changed it to electric vehicle.
Now,
okay, it's not great, right? Can we all admit it's not great?
So this is good. Before we move on, we got to appease people emotionally who see things like this and go, hey, this doesn't feel constitutional.
Right.
This feels manipulative. We feel taken advantage of. I feel like there's a lot of gaslighting going on. And as much as we all agree we want to reduce government inefficiency, I mean, like Akash hilariously says it every single week here. He's just like, fire them all. Like, he worked in a government job.
98% of them can go.
So
99. I'll go up. The more I'll complain.
There is that feeling, but we have to give some credence to a situation like that. And there might be more context to this. There might be a more nuanced take to it. I get it. Maybe Elon could describe it, sure. But on the surface, people reacting emotionally to it, that does look like corruption in another way. Right?
Like the Charlemagne thing. I heard your argument about this.
What was that?
Well, I thought it was interesting where you were like, hey, if you're a cop and you come to me and I'm like, yo, don't look in the basement. You're like, there's some shit in the basement. There's some shit in the basement.
100%. But also just the idea of like government spending going to certain people, like this happens on like a municipal level, where like the mayor is friends with the person that has the construction company, and that construction company gets the rebuilding project for the local bridge,
Right.
and then he gets the kickback.
Right.
Now we know that that's a form of corruption. When we see this, it's okay for someone to look at it and be like, that kind of feels like the corruption you're trying to scrub out.
Yeah.
Now, he might make the best vehicle for that job.
Yeah.
It might be right to increase that spending.
Right.
But I also need some transparency there, and you need to come out ahead of it, not wipe Tesla off the car. You need to come out ahead of it and gain my trust as an American and go, hey, this was the original deal. This amount was going to be spent over here. We think that this is better for these reasons, and that's why more money is spent there. And I totally get why you think this looks like a favor handed over.
Right.
Like, stop. The American people are done being lied to.
Yep.
And when we see shit like that, we have such little trust. It's almost like a girl who gets cheated on by every
they
boyfriend.
kind of should have little trust.
Yeah.
They're not wrong. They're correct.
Of like what Elon is doing, right? So if Elon has aligned himself clearly in a huge way with the right, and now is running Doge, right, the Department of Government Efficiency.
Doge, that is the White House's Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk.
And also has
a meme
X,
coin.
that he's turning X into a platform that rivals not just social media platforms, but video platforms like YouTube. Like they get insane amounts of videos, of views rather, on videos that are on X. And then you can get paid by X.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about having some sort of like X monetary system, you know, like doesn't WeChat have something like that? They have money built into it. So what's to stop that motherfucker from having a phone? I keep asking him. I said, dude, I've been seeing all these articles about you making a phone. Have you ever thought about it?
It's not something we want to do unless we have to.
He goes, I hope I don't have to make a phone. It's very difficult to make a phone.
He said he wants to make a phone.
No, he didn't.
He's polled. Would people buy a phone if he made one?
Yeah, just to fuck around. But he's not interested in making a phone. He doesn't want to make a phone.
Every time Elon fucks around, it ends up happening.
Well, he could make a phone. He would be the only guy that would break us out of the blue bubble paradigm.
Did you see the Elon protests? They're protesting Elon. They're literally standing out there with signs that say, arrest Elon Musk.
Listen, I guarantee it's organized. I guarantee it's organized by the same people that are going to lose a shitload of money based on all these discoveries at Doge. There's no way they're not. If you look at what Doge is uncovering, what they're uncovering with this USAID stuff, a lot of that stuff was organizing through NGOs protests. They organized the attempt at getting Trump impeached.
I thought you were going to say killed.
They organized the impeachment.
That's come out.
They also USAID spent $50 million on the lab that invented coronavirus.
Musk accused USAID of funding bioweapon research, including work on COVID-19, through taxpayer dollars. He alleges $53 million went to EcoHealth Alliance, which supported controversial coronavirus research at the Wuhan lab.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved in this not working. And when you have a lot of money involved, you're going to have organized protest. When you see protests, we all want to think protests like the 1960s. Yeah, fight the war, man. It's like organic, like peace, love, and hippie shit. But that's not what this is. What this is organized, funded protests where someone is spending a lot of money and they're mobilizing other NGOs. They're using their access to these mailing lists and all these different things. They're putting these things together.
Yeah, but do you think that the average liberal person, do you think that they're going to wake up and come around? Or do you think that they're going to be in like agony for 4 years and be...
What if it works? Like, what if the world gets safer, the country gets safer, the economy improves, and they don't attack civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, all these things that everybody's worried about. And then at the end of it, you realize like, hey, maybe I was wrong.
I mean, that's my question though. Are they capable of that kind of self-reflection?
Well, we're saying they as if it's like one different, like one kind of person.
No, I mean...